What is a Democrat? What is a Republican? A lot of people, and I assume a lot of you watching, vote single party down ballot for every election. And I mean, most people do. A matter of fact, I don't know off the top of my head anyone that doesn't. Just vote single party. And that could be beneficial in a lot of ways. I mean, we love to, the whole purpose of, political parties, we love to categorize things. It helps us analyze things really quickly. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but a lot of times, it could be beneficial to be able to quickly identify someone's traits or appearance if it's immediate danger or just in general. Categorizing things can be quick, easy, beneficial, doesn't use a lot of brain power. And that kind of goes along with politics as well. If you think back as to why you are a Democrat or a Republican, it can go through usually your basis of why you think the way you do in the first place. Maybe your family grew up staunch Democrats, and so now you're a Democrat. Maybe your friend group, you don't follow politics, but they are all Trump supporters and they all vote for the Republicans, and so you just kind of vote for the Republican Party. A lot of times that can be good for non-engaged voters, people that don't vote in the first place, because maybe they wouldn't have necessarily voted at all if they didn't have an idea of what a party is supposed to look like and how it kind of attributes to their morals and thoughts, and kind of says, okay, my friends, my family, I respect them. I understand their worldview. Their worldview is similar to mine, and so because of that, I'm gonna vote for the party that they identify with because I see myself in them. I trust them that they would make the similar decision that I would make. Okay, fair enough. And this is not a bad thing, but it gets to be a bad thing when we start looking at it as teams. When it begins to be less about we're voting for this party because this party reflects my values or I want to see the legislation that I would want to see carried out, but because this is my team, because they win, their winning is me winning. So let's do a little thought experiment. Say you're a Democrat and you're someone that adheres to the mantra vote blue no matter who. It doesn't matter who it is. If they're a Democrat, well, they're clearly better than the alternative Republican. Okay, so let's say there was a unknown Republican congressman, somebody that's not in the news, you have no thoughts or opinions about him whatsoever or her whatsoever. They were a Republican and they flipped to, they changed their voter registration in the upcoming 2020 election to a Democrat. So they were a Republican, now they're a Democrat. Would you vote for them? Think about it. If you're a Democrat, vote blue no matter who. Would you vote for that Republican turned Democrat? Some may say no, I wouldn't vote for them because something important to me is abortion or gay marriage. Okay, so let's say I would not vote for them because I draw the line where someone is against a woman's right to choose or against gay marriage. Let's say this Republican congressman had a change of heart. I now support gay marriage and I now support a woman's right to choose. Would you vote for him then? Yes? No? And this is where I I challenge you to think critically about why you support a certain party, because a lot of times you hear within the Democratic Party talk of unity and that we can't have purity tests. But what a purity test it really is a test of values, a test of morality, a test of that your morals and values align with mine. And so if we can't examine critically what these politicians that we vote for stand for, then what is this, a team sport? No. Okay. So that and I want to bring it back to that team. I want to bring it to that team mentality because this is what it does. when you start moving away from I support this candidate because he supports universal health care. So this candidate is a vehicle to get legislation that I want. When it veers away from that and towards I support this candidate because he is on my team, because he is a Democrat, not he is a Democrat because of what he stands for. I support him because he is a Democrat. When it starts getting to that, you start getting to a team mentality. So I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a Panthers fan. Go Panthers, keep pounding all day. If the Panthers are my team, right? And so I want them to win. I want them to succeed, all right? So I am excited when they win, when they beat the Falcons, when they send the Aints back home to Louisiana with a loss. That's awesome, okay? So they're my team. I identify with them. What is it? What if the Panthers won in something I necessarily didn't want them to win in? What if after the game they lost to the Falcons, and after the game they get into a fight in the parking lot and win the fight? Am I excited just because the quote-unquote Panthers won? No, I'm not, because it's not productive for them to get into a fight, regardless if they won or not. Do you see the metaphor I'm going with here? If I'm supporting the Democrats and the Democrats and Republicans come together for a bipartisan bill, and the Democrats got this in and that in, and it's a bill, and we won, we got it, but the bill is corporate tax cuts. It's a bill molded in Reaganomics, saying that, you know, Coca-Cola doesn't have to pay its workers certain wages. They don't have to worry about their health care. And they can, you know, adhere to stock buybacks, anything to generate profit. Essentially, it's a bill that benefits very few people. Doesn't benefit you. Okay? Would that be a win? Is that a win? Think about it. Because if that is a win, what is this all about? If the whole point of politics is for this air of theater, is the political theatrics, if the whole point is this symbolic idea that my team won, why are we doing this? Is it a sport? Is it for entertainment value? Of course not. But when we start getting into this team mentality, that's what happens. It starts becoming less about this legislation was passed and it makes it more difficult for credit card companies to screw over people with existing debt. Okay? It becomes less about that and more about Pelosi put this bill through and it slammed the Republicans and the Democrats won again. You know, slow clap, rip up Trump's speech, hashtag the resistance. If that's what it's about, then you're losing sight of the goal. The goal of politics, and this is why George Washington did not want political parties, is to progress society, is to construct a better, more perfect union with every legislation passed. It's not this pedantic back and forth tit for tat, you know, grandstanding, we won, they lost, we'll get them next time. And when you take back the facade of this, you know, us versus them, you start to realize that there is just so much fluff in terms of the political process. It's all the air of the theatrics. It's all about building a narrative, but it's not sexy to talk about the legislation, to talk about what is actually going down. It's better I wouldn't say better, people gravitate more towards large landmark headlines. And this kind of goes back to my media thing, and I do have part 2 coming. It goes back to my media breakdown, where I kind of broke down the fact that the media is a corporation and their main goal is to get profit, generate profit for their stockholders, not necessarily to be an objective arbiter of the truth. In journalistic integrity. So they're going to sensationalize, and they're people buy into the sensationalism when you have that team mentality. I'm going off on a tangent, but the important part here is to just think critically about why you vote for who you vote for. Don't fall into the trap of, I'm a Democrat, so I'm going to vote for Democrats, and if a Democratic piece of legislation is passed, I'm happy. Or I'm a Republican, so when the Democrats lose, I win. It's counterproductive and it's tearing our country apart, frankly. Not to be, to make grandiose cliche statements, but the biggest divisiveness in this country comes from its bipartisan nature. It comes from the clash of the narrative that they want what's worse for us. Their goal is to set us back somehow. Is their main goal isn't to benefit themselves, it's to screw us over. And when we fall into that trap, there's no going back. You got to come out of the team mentality, and that's why I say it's counterproductive to say vote blue no matter who. It's counterproductive to blindly support anything or anybody. It's counterproductive to be on a team.